Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 591st game that I've put onto our YouTube channel. Straight away you'll see that it's a Barbarian Invasion battle hosted on a custom map, and this map was hosted by Brotherhood member First Prime. And this is one of the closest battles I've been in on Barbarian Invasion. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Barclayman, who has bought his faction of choice, and that is the Saxons. He does really well with the Saxons, and that's why it's his faction of choice. I just have a quick look at some of his units there that you might not be familiar with. You can see he's got the Levy Spearmen. These are 120 man units. Okay, they're cheap units to bring. They actually throw spears, and they're really good to use as pilot shield units. As I say, they can throw spears at the enemy, and with being 120 they can soak up a lot of enemy missiles. So as I say, he's got 3 units of them, so it'll be interesting to see how well he uses them. And then he's got his elite Saxon Hearth troops. Now make no mistake, I notice he's got 8 upgrades on these. 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. I think their defense with that type of upgrades on something like 29. So these are really solid infantry, really good elite infantry. Some of the best infantry in the game, I think. And then he's got his chosen axemen, and if you notice the upgrades on his chosen axemen, he's got 9 upgrades, fully upgraded. 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on these effective against armor axemen, and you can see their axes there, and as I say, they do exactly what it says on the tin, effective against armor axemen there, so they can cut wide swathes through heavily armored troops like Roman troops. And then he's got his cavalry here. I think these are the mounted nobles. Now these are like mediocre cavalry, medium cavalry. They're not elite, but they're not really bad either, just medium cavalry there. So I think that's a pretty good tried and tested Barclayman Saxon army. Be interesting to see how well it does during the course of the battle. Our next teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who's bought the Roman Eastern Empire Rebels. Okay, you can have a quick look at some of the units in my army here. You can see I've got the Plumbarteri. Remember, they've got those metal tipped darts that they keep clipped to the inside of their shields. Okay, and they called a Plumbarti, those metal tipped darts there. And then I've got the Legio Lanciarii spear units there. Now these guys can throw spears, but also of course with carrying spears they are anti-cavalry, and they're really good use, pretty good use as pilot shield units at the front of your battlefield battle formation there. As you can see there, I've got some comitatenses. These guys are 122 man units, very tough, and of course because they're an eagle unit they will give morale to our troops there, and they throw pilers. They've just got 3 pilers there to throw, and their cavalry are, and I think we looked at these before, are the Equitae Clibanarii. Okay, Equitae Clibanarii, and they are effective against armor, and these cavalry are so tough. You know, with most cavalry you charge them into enemy infantry, you have to pull them out straight away or you will lose a lot of them. Where these guys are so tough, got such good specifications, you can leave them fighting infantry, and they do really good with their effective against armor maces. So make no mistake, the Roman cavalry, those Equitae Clibanarii, are tough. Okay. And our last teammate here is a Barbarian Invasion player, Amnestus, who has bought the Roman Western Empire faction. Now here you can see that he's got the Auxilia Palatina. Okay, now these are spear units, and if you notice he has fully upgraded them. 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Now that gives these guys a 31 defense, which is massive. A 31 defense, okay, so that's really good. Plus they can form a shield wall as well. Now as you can see, they carry spears, so they're anti-cavalry, but if you put them into shield wall and kind of group them together, they can be really good anti-infantry as well as anti-cavalry as well. So make no mistake, these are very underestimated units, I think, and as he's fully upgraded them, he's going to make the most of those units, I think, during the course of the battle. I think he's got Plumbarteri here. I think he got just 6 Plumbarteri, throwing those metal tipped darts, and of course he's brought a religious unit. Now remember that morale in Barbarian Invasion is kind of more important than it is in Rome Total War. So to bring a religious unit to give your troops an extra morale bonus is a really good tactical move, and it's a really good tactical unit to bring within your army. So that's a good move there by Amnestus. And I think he's only got 1 cavalry unit, and that's his general unit there. And I think that's the Imperial German bodyguard. Now make no mistake, I think this is one of the best bodyguard units in the game. There's his general, looks pretty cool. As I say, it's one of the toughest, best kind of with its best specification armored general unit in the game there. So that'll be interesting to see how well he does with that. So that's Amnestus' army there. So there's our team. This has got the potential to be a great battle and a very close battle, possibly the closest I've been in. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I just thought I'd show you my Roman battle formation here. You can see I've got my cavalry in behind. I found this formation seemed to work really well on Barbarian Invasion for me. If you notice here, as I say, got my Legio Lanciarii Spearmen at the front of my battle formation, so they will neutralise any big cavalry attacks going in, because of course they are anti-cavalry with their spears, plus they throw spears at the enemy as well. So there's my battle formation there. Be interesting to see how well it does during the course of the battle. And here is the other team. We have the host of this game, a Brotherhood member First Prime, who has bought the Roman Eastern Empire faction. As I say, those of you not familiar with the units on Barbarian Invasion, I think it might be quite interesting for you to see them there. You can see that he's got his Plumbarturi units. He's got 14 Plumbarturi units, 1 Comitatensis and 5 cavalry. Okay. Now, just for those of you that like statistics, each one of his Plumbarturi units can throw 810 metal-tipped effective against armor darts. So First Prime's Plumbarturi units can throw 11,340 effective against armor darts before we even get into hand-to-hand fighting. Okay, so First Prime's 14 Plumbarturi units can throw 11,340 effective against armor darts. Quick look at his cavalry there. He's got the Equites Clibanarii as well, where they're effective against armor maces there that look suspiciously like a rolling pin. So as I say, that's a lot of missiles that First Prime can throw in, but that's not the end of that story yet. And here we have Danny. Now Danny has got 13 Plumbarturis, 1 Comitatensis and 5 cavalry. Okay, now Danny's 13 Plumbarturi can throw 10,530 metal-tipped darts. He also brings a religious unit because he knows morale is so important on Barbarian Invasion. But as I say, his army, his 13 Plumbarturis can throw, as I say, 10,530. So the combined Plumbarturi units there can throw, get ready for this, First Primes and Danny's can throw 21,870 metal-tipped effective against armor darts. Let me say that just again. First Prime and Danny's combined Plumbarturi units can throw 21,870 metal-tipped darts that are effective against armor. So they can throw all those missiles in before we even get into hand-to-hand fighting. That is the power that Roman units have got on Barbarian Invasion. So once again, 21,870 Plumbarti effective against armor metal-tipped darts. Plus, Dan has also got his Equites Clibanarii cavalry as well. As I say, with their effective against armor maces, very, very tough cavalry there. So as I say there, that's a heck of a lot of missiles we've got to face before we even get into hand-to-hand fighting. Their last teammate is Brotherhood member Demon, who has bought the Sassanid faction. Now the Sassanid faction is a very good faction, got lots of good units in. We'll have a close look there. They've got the Sugdian warriors there. Okay, now if you look closely, you'll see they're carrying effective against armor maces. This infantry is really good, solid, strong infantry, as I say, with effective against armor maces. Then he's got the desert archers there. These guys got long range, good defense, really good quality archers there, and he's got 6 of those. Okay, but the real, as I say, the infantry and the archers are really good in the Sassanids, but their real power is their cavalry. And here we are at the cataphracts. Okay, now these guys are really armoured from head to toe. Okay, we call these the tanks of the Barbarian Invasion world, and I think we just go defence, and they got something like a massive 34 defence, plus a really good charge bonus as well. So make no mistake, these cataphracts are really elite and not to be messed with. And then for his general, he's got a Clibanarii Immortal unit. These guys have got 2 hit points. They're actually an archer unit, but if you alt attack, they use effective against armor maces. And as I say, with the specifications they got, they suffer very, very little damage from missile fire. So there you go, that's the enemy team. It's got the potential to be a fantastic battle and a very close one too. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I thought I'd show you how our team has set up here. Now, I think we're going to be a little bit defensive in this battle, and as you can see here, we've set up kind of a bit of a defensive formation here. We've got AM Nestos, his Plumbartroy units, and his archers in front of my main battle formation there. Okay, and then we've got my battle formation there, and if you notice, can you see that AM Nestos has integrated his auxiliary Palatina spear units in with my army there. Okay, and I think he's got them in shield wall formation as well, so make no mistake, those are going to be formidable spearmen during the course of the battle, especially as he's integrated them into my units there. Plus he's got his religious unit just behind them as well to give him that extra morale bonus. Over here you can see that Barclayman has put his levy spearmen, his 120 man levy spearmen, as his pilot shield units, with his hearth troops just behind them. And if you notice, he's put his effective against armor axemen at the rear of his battle formation because they are extremely susceptible to missile damage, and he can lose loads of those from archers if he's not careful. That's why he's keeping them at the back there. So there's our team's battle formation set out there. Should be a great one for you to watch. At this stage of the battle, I thought I'd show you how tough this Clibanarii Immortal General unit is. Can you see that AM Nestos' arrows are actually raining down onto this unit and hasn't caused a single casualty? This Clibanarii Immortal unit seems to be literally immortal against all archer fire. We've seen really elite archers shoot into them without causing them any casualties at all. You can see all of AM Nestos' arrows going in there into those this immortal unit, and not a single casualty. And also, can you see here that the immortal unit, as I say, is a horse archer unit, and they're shooting into our team. Okay, but we can't do any damage to it at all with our archers. So look, what Barclayman's got to do is bring a cavalry unit out to try and chase it away to stop it shooting our pilot shield units there. See, that unit's actually rode away there, but he could have probably taken on that Saxon cavalry unit there with their effective against armor maces. But as I say, I just thought it was interesting to show you how tough that immortal unit is, and it is really tough. Okay, at this stage of the battle, you can see that Demons, I just wanted to explain to you why Demons bought 6 archers. He used them as a dual purpose. They are just elite archers, so he can use them as they're meant to be used as archers, but he also uses them as pilot shield units, as you'll see later on in the battle. And he is very effective with these units as pilot shield units and as archers. Okay, at this stage of the battle, you can see AM Nestos has brought his archers forward here to try and target the enemy archers. But the Sassanid general spotted that and is sending that immortal unit over. Make no mistake, that's going to have a massive impact on those archers. And bang, as he smashes in there. You see, straight through the archers there into the Plumbartroy unit there. Did some damage, now pulling back. I'm not sure, they still got 25 men. They didn't lose a single man in that attack. And remember that he pushed through the archers into the Plumbartroy unit. He's going back in again, look, and get ready for this. He just seems to hesitate for a second and then going to charge in, and bang, as he charges in there. He went for the archer unit, but is actually fighting that Plumbartroy unit there now. Just charged straight in. It probably, I would think he's lost minimal men there, because he's lost 1 man there from attacking that Plumbartroy unit. And you can see that Imperial German general unit there coming out of AM Nestos there to try and catch him. So that would have been a good little battle to see the 2 general units fighting together there. That could have been quite interesting, because both those general units are extremely tough. As I say, now you can see that the Plumbartroy unit here of AM Nestos is moving forward, and those and I think those Plumbartroy units are susceptible to archer damage. So the enemy desert archers there could well be targeting them as they're now pulling back. You see, AM Nestos has brought his 3 archer units again here to try and counter those Sassanid desert archers there. I say, in this game, archers are extremely important because most units are susceptible to archer damage. So having good archers, or having a lot of archers, can make a big difference in the battle, obviously, because with so many units being susceptible to archer damage, you can do a lot of damage before you even get to hand fighting. As I say, AM Nestos has only got 3 very battled archer units, whereas Sassanid has got 6 very good elite archers there. So there's a bit one-sided archer battle there, but we'll just have to see as the battle unfolds. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I'd like to start a debate with all of you viewers about whether you put your cavalry in wedge formation before you attack infantry, or you just have them in normal formation. Okay, many years ago, in the early days of Rome Total War, we did an experiment with Roman Praetorian cavalry. Now you can see here, both Danny and Demon have got their cavalry in normal formation. Okay, not wedge formation, normal formation. As I say, many years ago, right at the beginning of Rome Total War, Brotherhood member Vlad and myself did several 1v1 battles testing wedge or normal formation for attacking infantry. What we found, we only tried it with Roman Praetorian cavalry, okay, no other cavalry, just Roman Praetorian cavalry, and we found that wedge formation was the best formation to attack infantry, because you penetrated further, you did more damage, and you caused more disruption within the enemy infantry when you hit them in wedge formation. So since those early days of doing those experiments, I've always had my cavalry in wedge formation, the same as first prime. But as I say, I notice that some people attack with normal formation. Now, there is swings and roundabouts here, because if you keep your cavalry in normal formation, you'll find that they move faster around the battlefield. So you can get from A to B a lot faster in normal formation than you can in wedge. Also, if you hit enemy infantry in normal formation, you can pull your cavalry out usually before the enemy can counterattack with their cavalry. In wedge formation, what you'll find is that it takes longer to pull your cavalry out of the melee in wedge formation, because in wedge formation your cavalry have got to turn round to come back out, and that eats up valuable seconds, allowing the enemy cavalry to counterattack and hit your standing cavalry as they're trying to pull out. So there are swings and roundabouts here, but as I say, the wedge formation we found did do the most damage to enemy infantry. Now if you notice here, both First Prime and myself have got our cavalry in wedge formation. I noticed that Barclayman has got his cavalry in normal formation. Okay, so if you look on counting here, you'll see Danny, Demon and Barclayman have got their cavalry in normal formation, and just First Prime and myself have got our cavalry in wedge formation. So what I'd like you to do is please put something in the comments about which you prefer to use and what you find most effective with your cavalry when they're going to attack infantry. Do you always use wedge formation when you attack enemy infantry, or do you not use normal formation? I think it could be a really good debate in the comments there between us all about which is the best formation to use to attack infantry with cavalry. Okay, at this stage of the battle, you can see that First Prime is slowly moving his cavalry into the woods here. Now the reason he's doing that is to hide his cavalry, and he'll be hoping that we've forgotten that he's got cavalry, or wherever he's put the cavalry here, by hiding it. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you this very slowly. Look, moving very slowly, so hopefully you won't notice it that much, and then you'll see as they settle in the woods how each unit will disappear before your eyes. Okay, so there you go. My guess is at the end when I go first, there you go, and now no more cavalry, all disappeared in the woods, and he's hoping that we'll forget he's got the cavalry there, so he can kind of like spring an ambush on us when he's ready during the course of the battle. Okay, at this stage of the battle, you can see that Demon's charging in that general unit there. It wouldn't surprise if that general unit routed there. Yes, and it's actually routed there because I think probably the morale dropped so much with all the enemy troops that were around it there, probably made it decide it's better not to be there. Now can you see all the missiles here that are coming in from the enemy troops? First Prime has just moved his forward units of his infantry formation into range of my forward units, and he is now showering my units with those effective against armour metal tip darts of Plumbartai. Now remember that both him and Danny combined can throw 21,870 of those effective against armour metal tip darts before we even get into hand-to-hand fighting. I noticed Danny's moved closer as well, and he's throwing some of his Plumbartai metal tip darts into my forward units as well, so I'm getting showered here from those metal tipped effective against armour darts from both Danny and First Prime. And my pilot shield units at the front there will probably be damaged a lot. I noticed that AM Nestos has thrown his archers and some of his Plumbartai units into the pilot shield unit as well to try and soak up some of those missiles. That was good teamwork by him there. Here you can see, remember what you're talking about earlier about Demon using his archers as good pilot shield units. Okay, so he uses his elite archers with a dual purpose when he brings Assassinids. He brings them because they're really good archers, got long range, do a lot of damage, but also he uses them really well as pilot shield units here. And as I say there, you can see him moving those forward now. And what he'd like us to do is just put our units on auto fire so that we would waste our missiles on his archers, leaving his allies' elite units untouched by our missiles. So that's what he wants there. What might be a good idea is if those two units combine, get close together, we could hit them with maybe a cavalry hit to rout them. Because at the moment they're a real nuisance, because the enemy can move up closer behind those archer units and really bombard us with their missiles. And if we put, as I say, our units on auto fire, all our missiles will be hitting these archers. So they are a bit of a nuisance, and a really good tactical move there by Demon to use them like that. Okay, obviously he's taking the skirmish mode off, otherwise they'd be running away from us. So they're just going to stand there. So really the best thing for us to do here is to try and kind of rout those two units. And as you can see, Barclayman here bringing one of his mounted noble cavalry units forward. I think I'm going to run my infantry forward as well to help that cavalry unit, so that we can make sure we definitely rout those archer units, and bang, as that cavalry unit smashes in there. You can see I've moved my infantry formation slightly forward there so that I just hit those archer units as well, and now we've routed both of those archer units there. So we've taken away a bit of their pilot shield units there that they were using. But as I say, here you can see both Danny and First Prime have moved forward. Now here, if you notice, you've got Danny's infantry, and you've got Demon's Sugdian infantry, plus Sassanid cavalry, plus Danny's cavalry there. Now looking at the disposition of them, it wouldn't surprise me if they did attack on our left flank here. Okay, it wouldn't surprise me if they did a 2v1 attack here on Barclayman. Okay, that's what I'm thinking they're looking at. Just look at the disposition of their infantry and cavalry. That looks like where it's coming in. And don't forget, Danny, Demon and First Prime are on TeamSpeak. Okay, that's where they communicate with each other, talking through microphones. So it's, as you know, it's a lot easier to talk to each other on the microphone than it is to type. So as I say, they'll be working really well as a team, talking to each other on the microphone here. Right, you can see First Prime has now moved his army forward. Now make no mistake, there are going to be some missiles coming in here now. You can see here now, look, just look at the air there. It's absolutely raining missiles coming in there. As I say, don't forget, First Prime, with just his 14 Plumbarturi, can throw 11,340 metal tipped darts in on my infantry there. So just look at those darts raining in on us there. Luckily, as I say, AM Nestos has put his Plumbarturi in a forward position with my forward units there, so they're soaking up some of the enemy missiles as well. But make no mistake there, we are suffering a lot of catches there. You can see that Demon's put another one of his archer units up there as well to soak up our missiles. But just look at the volume of missiles there coming in to our forward units. I mean, it literally is raining metal tipped effective against armoured darts on my forward units. Plus you can see Danny here moving forward as well. Now as I say, looking at the disposition of Demon and Danny's army here, it does look to me like there's going to be a concerted attack here on our left flank. Okay, now Barclayman here, I notice he's moving his infantry about here, and it looks like he is expecting that double attack on him there, the way he's moving his infantry closer to our infantry there. Okay, so that's a nice tactical move there by Barclayman. He can see maybe the writings on the wall there. But as I say, my forward units are getting absolutely pummeled by enemy missiles there. And yes, those two, I've lost all my Legii spear units there. I think one I've brought back into the fray there. Can you see it had actually routed, but it's come back. And so I've put it out at the front of my battle formation again. But you can see how it's being decimated, down to 4 men. Okay, and now it's going down to 3, 2, last man left there. You see, 1 man left there. He's probably going to go down. And there he's gone. So that entire unit's been taken out by missiles. Nothing else there. So that just goes to show the power of the missiles that both Danny and First Prime can bring to the battlefield here. They notice that Demon's put his archer unit out in front of us again to soak up any of our missiles, rather than our missiles hitting their more elite infantry. As I say, look at Danny and Demon there ready to attack here on the left flank. You can see that Barclayman's got his cavalry ready. He's brought his axemen over. I've got my cavalry locked and loaded at an angle there to support Barclayman for when that attack comes in, because looking at it there, it looks like the hammer blow of the enemy team is going to fall on our left flank. That is when the hammer blow is going to land the hardest. And as I say there, you can see, I think Danny's throwing missiles, aimed missiles into my units as well. They look like they're going to kind of avoid my battle formation here and actually charge in on poor old Barclayman's Saxons on our left flank here. Okay, you can see that AM Nestos has got his spear units integrated with my infantry units there, and you can see First Prime's brought his cavalry out of the woods, so you can see now that he's locked and loaded, and I got a feeling at any moment now they are going to absolutely hammer us with a massive attack. They've weakened us considerably with all the missiles that we've soaked up, and now they're going to smash us. Now, is First Prime going to take his army around that right flank to help his allies there to make it a 3v1 against our Saxon ally? Or will he try and hold my infantry at the front? We'll just have to wait and see. Here's a nice little hit here. Looks by Barclayman's cavalry. Get ready for this. And bang! As it smashes in there. A nice hit there. But it wouldn't surprise me if those cavalry units receive some missile damage there from Danny. You can see the missiles going in to poor old Barclayman's cavalry there. Did you see that enemy infantry unit glow? It just got a battlefield promotion. Remember, when a unit does well in battle, it gets a battlefield promotion, and it glows to show you that it's got that battlefield promotion. There you are. You can see Barclayman charging his cavalry unit in again, and bang, as it smashes in there. Really trying to do a lot of damage there. But as I say, it looks to me that our left flank here is going to be where the hammer blow is going to fall the strongest there from the enemy team when they attack. Okay, at this stage of the battle here, you can see Barclayman moving his Saxon Hearth troops forward towards Danny's army. Now, this seems to have provoked the inevitable attack now, and you can see that Danny is really pouring his infantry in here. I think Barclayman left one unit there. You can see there's one unit seems to be holding up the attack. You can see that Demons, Sugdian warriors are being brought into the fray as well. Make no mistake, this is where the hammer blow is going to fall the hardest here on our left flank. Look at those cavalry. Look at those infantry charging forward there. Here comes the cavalry, and bang, as they smash in to Barclayman's units there. Right, okay, so you can see all of Danny's infantry and cavalry are attacking there. You've got the Sugdian warriors of Sassanid. You've got the Sassanid Cataphracts cavalry ready to charge as well. Now notice here, First Prime has moved his army. Remember, he was right in front of me. He's now moved over to that left flank there, so that they are going to try a 3 attack on poor old Barclayman. You've got First Prime's cavalry locked and loaded. Is he going to charge into me, or is he going to move his cavalry over to the other flank to help his allies try and take out poor Barclayman? Look at the impact of all that cavalry and infantry going into Barclayman's infantry, and bang, as that cavalry almost penetrates his line. He's charging his cavalry in, and bang, as those cavalry units come in. Then you've got the Cataphracts charging in there as well. Oh my gosh, now you can see my green Roman cavalry there. See my cavalry coming into the fray, and they're going to hit, and bang, as they smash in there straight into the enemy purple Roman infantry there. Now you can see First Prime's cavalry and his infantry charging in as well. He's thrown infantry units in as well as his cavalry units as well. Look at that massive enemy attack there on our left flank. Let's just pause the game for a second. So you've got First Prime's cavalry, you've got Danny's infantry and cavalry, and you've got Sassanid infantry and cavalry smashing our left flank, trying to break Barclayman's Saxon troops. You can see that AM Nestos is moving his Palatina spearmen over to help. There you can see I've got my cavalry in there. I'm going to start moving infantry units over there from my army over to that left flank as well. As I say, I've got my cavalry in there already. But just look at that massive impact on our left flank. Look at the numbers. Look how they're absolutely surging forward there. And bang, as the First Prime's infantry joins in on our left flank as well. Look at that. Look at the enemy numbers there. Can you see my green cavalry in amongst that massive purple troops there? My green cavalry still fighting there where they're effective against armor maces, against that massive purple there. That's good news. We've taken out the Sassanid general. That's good news. That's going to take a bit of morale away from the enemy troops there. But just look at that mass of enemy troops there pushing in on our left flank. Poor Barclay man there, I don't know how he's managing to hold. Look at that Sassanid cavalry penetrating there. Right, you can see several of our units starting to rout now, so it looks to me like our left flank's going to be broken here, and the enemy will roll us up from left to right. I think we put up quite a good fight there on that left flank, but as you can see, the enemy troops are engulfing our left flank and centre now. Look at all the enemy troops pushing in on us. Can you see my green Roman cavalry there? The Equitai Clibanarii really fighting well there amongst all those enemy troops. I've moved infantry units over to that centre area and left flank there. But as you can see there, a lot of Barclay man's units are starting to fold there, as well as AM Nestos is some of his spear units are starting to rout as well. Now here you can see First Prime, he's locked and loaded his cavalry, and he's going to charge in there, and that could be the finishing charge there. He could get a mass rout here from us if he charges in. Right, here comes his cavalry. Remember, he's got the Equitai Clibanarii, and they're charging in. And bang! As they smash in there. They smashed into Barclay man's axemen there. You can see the Sassanid cavalry coming in there as well. And bang! As they smash in there. Coming in behind us. Oh my gosh, we're still managing to hold on that left flank. It's going to break at any time though. Just look at the enemy numbers there. It's going to break at any time. Look how the enemy troops are pushing in on us here. Right, now here's something you might find interesting. Can you see how my cavalry is actually pushing the enemy infantry back? Can you see how we've moved forward there? I'm pushing the enemy infantry back with my cavalry. Look at the gap between the spearmen that were engulfed by enemy troops, and look at them now where my cavalry and Barclay man's general unit there, we've managed to push the enemy infantry back from the attack. So that just goes to show how powerful these Equitai Clibanarii cavalry are. Look at the gap now. Remember that the enemy were actually fighting those spear units of AM Nestos, and my cavalry and that one infantry unit has managed to push them back. You can see enemy units coming in from the flank, really trying to roll us up from left to right. You've got these Sassanid cataphracts in behind us, look, smashing into the rear of AM Nestos's Palatina spearmen there. As I say, 3 of my units there holding the right flank here. First Prime still trying to push in there. I got my general there. Now all the way through this battle, my general's blowing the bugle, the rallying bugle there, giving morale to our allies as well as my troops there. Okay, but just look at the situation there. You can see my cavalry still pushing the enemy infantry back there. Remember, the purple are the enemy and the blue are the enemy. The Sassanid blue and the purple Rome. We are the red, green and brown of the Saxons, okay? So as you can see here, look at my green cavalry. They're pushing that enemy Roman infantry back there. And then you can see that the cavalry, the enemy cavalry there, have pulled out behind us there, locked and loaded. Okay. Now what I'm thinking here is that I think that's First Prime. Yeah, there you go. This is about the 3rd cavalry charge he's put in. He's pulled his cavalry back, locked and loaded. Notice in wedge formation for more penetration, more impact. Now what I want to do here with my cavalry, if I can just hold this enemy infantry, when that enemy cavalry hits us, then all my allies' infantry here can turn their infantry there to face and neutralise that cavalry attack, while my cavalry watch their backs by keeping this enemy infantry at bay. Okay, can you see the tactic there? So if I can keep the enemy infantry at bay there, then my teammates can turn their infantry on that big cavalry attack that we can see is going to come in on us at any time. Plus I'm going to move some of my infantry units across there, including my general unit, to help with this. But as I say here, you can see here that cavalry is ready to charge in there. As I say, look at my green Roman Equitai Clibanarii still pushing that enemy infantry back there with the power. Right, here you can see First Prime's cavalry charging in there. Now you can see them charging in. I've moved some of my infantry units there. Now you can see all my allies now can turn all their infantry to face that threat. Okay, my cavalry just held on long enough to allow them to turn to face the threat of that enemy cavalry coming in on us. Okay, can you see that? My cavalry just held up the enemy infantry then to allow the infantry to turn. I'm moving my infantry units in to hit that cavalry as well, but my last of my cavalry units have now been broken. They've all been killed, and the enemy infantry can now pour in. But hopefully we would have just given the infantry enough time there, our allies' infantry enough time there, to neutralise that cavalry attack coming in behind them. before the enemy troops start crashing into the rear of our troops there. Okay, but now you can see the enemy purple Roman troops start pouring in. They've killed all my cavalry that was holding them at bay for so long. And now look at AM Nestos' red spearmen there, getting surrounded from all sides there from the enemy Roman troops pushing in on him there. And you can see there that the enemy cavalry once again are pulling back out to lock and load and charge back in. But just look at the numbers of the purple enemy Roman troops pushing in on us, and the Sassanid Sogdian warriors there as well pushing in on us. I think those Palatina spearmen of AM Nestos is doing really well. You can see units, some of my units starting to rout here under the pressure from the sheer numbers. There you can see AM Nestos' units starting to rout there with the sheer numbers of enemy pushing in on us here. Let's say I'm leaving a couple of units here to hold our right flank there. You can see First Prime pushing in there on them. I've thrown the rest of my infantry into the fray, but as I say, the spearmen, these Auxilia Palatina spearmen of AM Nestos, fully upgraded with 31 defense, have been doing a sterling job. They're kind of like almost like the backbone of our team here, holding so well against the enemy troops coming in on us. There's a couple of his units that were routed earlier. Look, they've rallied and they're going to come back into the fray. So that's good news for us. Got good numbers in them as well, reasonable numbers in them as well to come back into the fray. So that is really good news. And the other good news is I think all our generals are still alive as well, as far as I'm aware. So that's given us all our morale bonus there. But just look at those enemy Roman troops pushing in on AM Nestos' units. As I say, I've thrown in all my infantry as well. All my cavalry were taken out after doing a really good job against those enemy infantry. But just look at, as I say, those enemy troops surging forward here. I see Barclayman Saxon's got a few units left there. They'll be fighting really well, especially those effective against armour axemen. Don't forget he's got those elite Saxon Hearth troops as well. Once again, you can see First Prime pulls his cavalry back, but they are extremely battle damaged and he's lost a lot of units. He's going to charge them in again then. Here they come. Looks like he's going for my general. See my green general there? Looks like he's going to hit them. And bang! As he smashes into my green general there. That is some kind of impact. Look at the penetration. He's going through my general unit into the rear of my ally spearmen there. That was a massive cavalry hit there, even though he had battle damaged cavalry. That was a big hit there. And look, you can see AM Nestos, his units are starting to rout. You can see they're starting to shrink a little bit. I can see one of our Saxon allies' units is gone as well. One of Barclayman's units is gone. So as I say, look at the enemy purple Roman infantry pushing in us here. Right over here you can see that I think it's Danny. I got Danny's infantry and First Prime's infantry attacking my two units over here. He's got one unit in behind me, so I'm leaving those two units there to try and hold there as long as they can, bearing in mind they're being attacked from the front and the rear there by enemy infantry. But as I say, just look at this, at the numbers there. Look at that general AM Nestos' Imperial German general unit there, smashing into the rear of those enemy infantry there. Nice hit there. I can see some of Barclayman's Saxon troops starting to rout. I can see some of AM Nestos' Auxiliary Palatina spearmen starting to rout as well. I know I've lost several of my infantry unit, and as you know, we've lost all my cavalry. Okay, but as I say there, just look, we're starting to rout some of their units as well at the moment here. So bearing in mind the numbers that we saw that were coming in on us, I think all of the Sassanid infantry has been taken out from what I can see, and all the Sassanid cavalry as well from what I can see at this stage of the battle. So we've taken them out. There's Saxons there still doing really well. AM Nestos is Auxiliary Palatina spearmen still doing very well. I've still got my infantry there. I've got my general there. I remember all the way through this battle, every time the general's bugle stopped blowing, I started to blow it again. Remember that bugle, that general bugle there is giving morale, rallying bugle there, rallying the troops, giving morale to our troops there. But as I say, look at the enemy pushing in there. Okay, so you can see now I'm bringing some of my infantry over from the fray on the other flank here to attack the enemy that are attacking those two units of mine that have been under pressure all the way through since the enemy attacked. We've got a couple of Barclayman Saxon units in here as well, attacking those enemy troops there. But unfortunately here, can you see a lot of enemy troops starting to rally here? Can you see? I can actually see some Sogdian warriors, I think some Sassanid warriors are A lot of the enemy troops here have rallied and are going to come back into the fray. Now, this is a very, very close battle. Are those rallied units coming back into the fray going to just tip the balance here? Look at them charging in there. You can see my general's a bit exposed to attack. See my general there? All those units look like they're going to charge in on my general, try and take my general out here to lose the morale bonus that he's given at the moment. But you can see here, this is going to be a really touch and go right down to the wire battle here, as those rallied units charge in, trying to kill my general, trying to attack the flank of my other units there. Look at those enemy troops surging in there, trying to kill my general, as I say, take away the morale bonus that he's given. I can see Barclayman's generals attacking those enemy troops that were behind my units there. And we're going to try and take out this general here, this enemy general. I think it's Danny's general here. I'm going to start concentrating my troops on trying to take out Danny's general there, take the morale bonus away. And yes, we've managed to rout Danny's general there, so that's going to take the morale bonus away from his troops. So that's good news there. They're not going to get the general morale bonus anymore. So that was a good move by us. But you can still see a lot of the enemy. Remember, the enemy Roman troops here are purple. Everything else is us. And as you can see here, look at the numbers they're pushing in on those auxiliary Palatina spearmen of Amnestos. But remember, Amnestos fully upgraded them. They're actually in, I believe they're actually in shield wall formation. So they're tight, close together there. And the enemy are trying to attack them, but they're still holding really well. And now we've taken out a lot of the enemy units on this flank. We can now switch our troops over to try and help Amnestos on the other flank. So as I say there, now we're going to charge over. I can see First Prime's general still alive there, so he's still going to give morale to the enemy troops as we move our infantry over there to try and take out First Prime's general there. Okay, so now we've taken out all the enemy infantry on the other flank. We can now turn our infantry to this flank here. If you notice here, I'm taking a couple of units in behind the enemy team there to get in behind the enemy general there and attack him from the rear. Okay, you can see that there. You can see that Barclayman's bringing his general round as well. We're going to really try and surge forward there and kill First Prime's general. As I say, the morale that he's given to his troops are what's keeping them fighting at the moment, I think, looking at our numbers now in comparison to theirs. So as I say, if we can take out First Prime's general, then that'd be a good move. Right, see me surging my troops, see my green Roman troops really pushing forward there into First Prime's general. You can see also Barclayman pushing in there as well with his axemen and his hearth infantry there, trying to take out those that general of First Prime. See us all really pushing in there, really surging forward there to try and take out that general. If we can just take out that general, as I say, I think that's the only thing keeping the rest of his troops fighting there, the morale bonus that he's given them there. And yes, we've managed to rout them. So we've managed to rout his general unit there, which is good news for us. And now you can see that for once in this battle, it looks like we've got the numbers on our side. Right at the end, towards the end of the battle here, you can see that we've managed to weather the massive storm that came in on us there. And I just thought we were going to mass rout there, but somehow we've managed to turn this game around. And I hate using this old saying, but I mean, let's be honest, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat couldn't be more of a true word said, I think, in this battle. You saw the massive impact on our left flank. It looked like our troops were going to rout at any time, and somehow we held and we turned things around this battle. Let's just pause the game for a second here. So as I say, it looks like our team has managed to to go on to win the battle. Now notice there's a very concentrated battlefield here. Now if you notice here, Barclayman's got 2 men left in that unit. Okay, and he's got 16 men in that unit. So altogether he's got 18 men out of his entire army. That's all he's got left. That was where he took that massive impact on that left flank. Now if you notice here, you'll see Amnestos, his spear units there. They're really badly battle depleted as well. Okay, you can see that. If you just look at the numbers there, you can see that they were very battle depleted. Bearing in mind these are 82 man units. So you can see how battle depleted they are. And of course my infantry has been battle depleted as well. Remember, I lost a lot of mine through missile damage at the beginning. Here you can see, look at the cataphract dead here. Okay, this is a lot of enemy and allied cavalry dead. You can see a lot of the Saxon cavalry dead here of Barclayman's, the brown cavalry there. But just look at all the cataphracts, the Equitai, Clibanarii, as well as Sassanid cataphracts there, dead. It just goes to show how intense the battle was there. As I say, just looking at the casualties that we've suffered and how many men we've got left in our unit, you can see it was a real battle of attrition. Over here on the right flank, where a lot of the missiles were being thrown in on us, I'd just like to show you something here. Can you see all this dead green infantry? That's my infantry units there that were killed by sheer firepower. That was just the missiles that were coming in on my infantry. You notice there's hardly any dead infantry around me. That's because I wasn't fighting with these units. These units were just taken out by sheer missile power from Danny and First Prime. Remember, they had that combined missile damage of 21,870 missiles, and my infantry did suffer a lot from those missiles there. So just say a very, very condensed battle, I think you'd agree there. You can see where the most intense part of the battle was, where they hit us on that left flank. So let's say there we've, let's say our team has managed to go on to win the battle there. How we managed to turn things around, I've got no idea. And, you know, I really do think we did snatch victory from the jaws of defeat in this battle. And I don't say that lightly. As I said, I thought our left flank would have been smashed if we'd have been rolled up from left to right. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game there. I say I do think this is the closest battle I've been in on Barbarian Invasion. I do think that. I say it is a close victory, as we thought it would be. Very rare to get a close victory on Barbarian Invasion. Highest kills goes to Barclayman with his Saxon army, 1,594 kills. So really well done to Barclayman with his Saxon army there. Highest kills in the game. But I'd like to show you something in the enemy team there. Second highest kills goes to First Prime, 1,546. And third highest kills goes to Danny, 1,439. So really well played to them as well. So it just goes to show how close a battle this was. So well done to brother member First Prime. I say second highest kills in the game, did really well, aggressive. Well done to Danny, third highest kills in the game, very aggressive. Demon probably didn't get the kills that he wanted to there, but he did well. So well done to all three of you guys. Great battle that was, really well played. There are some really good kills there, really good aggressive attack in there. And I think that team speak you use really does help. You can see my infantry there was mostly defensive, so I suppose I didn't do too badly there for kills, bearing in mind that attacking you get more kills obviously than being in defence. As I say, Barclayman got the highest kills in the game, so really well done to him. And well done to AM Nestos. Probably didn't get the kills that he wanted to, but I think his spearmen were the backbone of our team there. They're the ones that really held against those massive attacks by the enemy team there. So really well done to AM Nestos. I think even though me and Barclayman had higher kills, he had a pivotal part in our team there at Hold'em. So just one more thing. Please, in the comments, put your thoughts on whether you'd put your cavalry in wedge formation or not when you attack enemy infantry. I think it'd be interesting to get a debate going on whether cavalry in wedge formation is better than a cavalry in normal formation attacking enemy infantry, or maybe it's not. I'd just like your thoughts on it. Spartan Commander saying bye for now. See you soon.